Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to Secrets. Don't be weird and insecure. You're fine. You're beautiful, Kristen. You don't need makeup. You're beautiful. All right, so Capricorn, I am excited to go over this new moon, the Cancer new moon, because it's in the same month as the huge Capricorn full moon that just happened. And this Cancer new moon is obviously your opposite. So there's a lot to be said about it, and there's a lot that you should be preparing yourself for when it comes to it. Emotionally, where you were when the Capricorn full moon transit was taking place, you were in more of a, as I was saying before, you were kind of dancing between self-empowerment, but then also self-disempowerment. You were hyper aware of the things in your life that you were proud of, but then you were also hyper aware of the things in your life that you wanted to change. And that's been going on ever since. You've been, all throughout July, you've been very aware of yourself and what it is that you want to change about yourself. Some of you could have been looking at spending a lot of time in the mirror, as I stated before, looking at your looks, looking at your body, your hair, your eyes, etc., trying to figure out what it is that you wanted to change about yourself so you could feel more authentic to who it is that you are and be a more authentic version of yourself for the world to see, which I'm very happy about. I think that's absolutely wonderful. For the Cancer new moon, it's a little similar. So obviously this is not in your first house, it is in your opposite. And so it's not necessarily directly about you per se, but you will still be looking at yourself from a beauty standpoint, especially because of the Venus transit, the aftermath of the full moon, and it's Cancer season with a Cancer new moon. So because we are in your opposite sign, it still makes you hyper aware of yourself, but you in relation to others, because that's what Cancer represents for you. It's your relationship house. And then Cancer in itself is the kind of sign that is all about others. It is all about the way it sees itself in relation to the world outside of it, especially intimate and close relationships. So at first, in the beginning of the month, you were more in a space of who it is that you saw yourself as pertaining to just you. And now as we go deeper into it, especially with the Venus transit, you're now looking at yourself in relation to the world, your relationships, and how it is that you want to show up and how it is that you want people to see you. So your attractiveness, your image, the way you show up in your career, your outfits are going to start to change. You're going to get very focused on the refinement of who it is that you are, not necessarily in a shallow way. This is not a moment that is just there simply because of shallow reasons. It is about you defining who it is that you are for the world to see, and you really want to show up as authentically as yourself and beautify yourself in the process, especially with the Virgo Mars transit as well, which has you hyper aware, kind of a little bit nitpicky, and willing to put in all of the effort necessary in order to change your life the way that you want it to be and to become the person that you most want to see. You are really focused on being the change in the world that you want to see, basically. Through all of the difficulties that you've experienced through the first half of the year, you are now so aware of the fact that you govern your own reality and that it's in your hands and it's in no one else's. And so the beautiful thing is your awareness of the fact that if you want your world to reflect something, you have to do it. Just simply because of the ways in which you've been tested, your personal empowerment is something that is on high right now, which is good, which is great. The Cancer new moon is a little bit softer, and we're going to start feeling it tomorrow, and you will be feeling a lot lighter during this moon. It's a very peaceful and transient moon. I mean, even right now as I'm talking, I keep saying and normally I'm not so out of it, right? But there's something about it that's very tranquil and is going to bring things that you have been waiting for into your experience, including finances as well as relationships, callbacks, reconciliations, different things like that. So let's get into it. So it's in your seventh house, so it's a strong focus on relationships and partnerships, especially in terms of business. A big focus on getting clear on love proposals. So if you have been waiting to commit to someone or hear back from someone or get clarity on where you stand with someone, this is a time when that most likely will come into fruition for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, as I said. It could simply be business-wise, getting clarity on contracts and who it is that you want to work with. But I'm not going to deny the fact that love is a big priority here, especially with Leo in your Venus, Leo in Venus, which is in your 8th house, and it's going to remain there for until September. And it's also going retrograde not long after this new moon. So love is a big topic, romantic love, as well as the way you relate to the rest of the world. The North Node is going into your place of home and family for 18 months, having you feel, you're kind of trying to figure out where it is that your independence stands with your family, where it is that you, who it is that you are outside of the collective. Because family doesn't necessarily have to be your traditional family. It could be whatever family means for you. And trying to individualize yourself and then figuring out where it is that you stand between the two, because the South Node is giving you all these career blessings. The South Node really wants you to focus on your career and align with really great opportunities that are going to be taking place for this long 18-month time period, especially with Jupiter and Taurus. There's a lot going on in a very positive light, or I guess in a very positive way, for your career and your finances, and you really want this. You've been wanting this for a very long time. But with the North Node, it's going to feel a little bit like a battle between who it is that you want to show up in the world as and how it is that your old world, I guess, or your original world feels about that. Kind of breaking free and figuring out where can you find that balance. That could also mean that many of you could be moving quite far away from your home base, your family, transitioning out of whatever relationships that you have that create a big shakeup in terms of where it is that you're going and where it is that you came from. You're transforming a lot. You've been transforming a lot in an internal level, and now you're bringing it on a hugely external level. You were doing it in a way that was your shadow, and now it's being brought to the light. So your relationships will become strained because of this. The old is no longer existent for you. You are very focused on the new, and you are very focused on who it is that you want to be, regardless of how anyone is going to feel about that. You guys are showing up in the world unapologetically, and you're going to continue to do that, especially in the from now until September. And it's really going to shine in October. Career-wise, looks-wise, relationship-wise, you are showing the world who it is that you've always wanted to be. And a lot of people aren't necessarily going to be happy about that. And it can create those strained dynamics as this karma closes out. As I stated before, these next 4 months are finalizing serious karmic cycles for good. And as you go through that process, October comes around, it's going to be a different world. But as you continue to close doors and windows, it's not necessarily something that is going to just go well with everyone. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. And you're going to continue to navigate that for a while. Good relationship energies, although you may kind of maybe struggle with your schedules when Venus goes into retrograde, but really, really good energies for relationships for this new moon. So I say get out there. Date if you want to date. If you're single, tell someone you love them. As one of my favorite phrases is, what is it? It's funny. It's one of my favorite phrases, and right now I can't remember. But it's in other words, it's basically a simple way of saying life is too short to not tell someone that you love them. Basically, if you love someone, you might as well talk, right? If you want to pursue someone, just go for it. This is a really good time to do so. And you're feeling that vitality. You're feeling yourself. It's a great time to start a relationship with someone, either romantically or business-wise, that wants to see you grow. Someone that you can evolve with, create a long-term dynamic with. You are ripe and ready to, as I said, transform and connect with the kind of person that wants to transform with you and can continue to rise and climb with you. Because it's a thing about you guys in your relationship karma in the past, you would connect with people that were not ready to align with your narrative or couldn't go the distance like you could. Now you're in a space where you can attract the kind of person that can actually go the distance with you, which is wonderful. If you are in an existing relationship, you are getting a new beginning through a lot of talking, a lot of, it's almost like a fresh water coming into the relationship and making you see each other differently. Your eyes are opening to this person again, as if you're, I would, dare I say, falling in love again, you know, renewing the experience, being able to communicate better and create a new path and a new plan for where it is that you guys want to go. And it's going to get even deeper when the retrograde happens, because the Cancer New Moon is going to bring this light, almost Page of Cups, airy energy to the relationship. And it's going to be grounded when Venus goes into retrograde in terms of you guys doing the work in order to revive, change, grow, or evolve your relationship. Yeah, in terms of your, I'll get into finances in a second. Lots of, yeah, I've got a lot about income. I'm trying to skip the stuff about money and just go with relationships and then do money after. Yeah, lots of conversations about future relationships, so a lot of networking. If you want to, this is a little bit about money, it's about career, but again, whether it be love or whether it be career, this is a great time to connect, get out there and connect, because all of the serendipity is with you in terms of creating good partnerships and good relationships that have longevity for your future, that can really benefit you in the long run. You're hyper aware of, again, this one's about money. Hyper focus on bettering your relationships, working together as a pair, as a unit. Again, for great longevity. Longevity is key right now. It's key when it comes to this Cancer New Moon. You are be able to see relationships that can go the distance and what it is that you both need to do in order to do that. No more of that ego kind of standing in the way, or pride or fear. You're ready to relinquish all of that and just grow. Just grow with the other person, which is wonderful. You are aware of who you are and who you want to align with because of your awareness of yourself. So again, a lot of this self-work, the way in which you're evolving within yourself, aligning with yourself, you want to share that with someone else, and you want to make sure that it's the kind of relationship that is watering you, that is aligning you and evolving you. You have this new identity, and this new identity that you have, you really want to give it all that you have, all the while loving another person, right? Because you love yourself, and now you're more capable of loving someone else, and you guys can build a brand together. You can build an image together. You can build a life together, because you are evolving and you want a person who can evolve with you, and that's what you're attracting. You're fighting for what's rightfully yours. Relationships that are going to help you heal emotionally, financially, and physically. You're ready to reveal everything about yourself, although you might be scared. So that's another thing when it comes to the Cancer New Moon. It's a lot of emotion. It's a lot of vulnerability. It's a lot of honesty. So for existing relationships, you guys are going to get deep with each other, not necessarily in the same way you are for the Venus retrograde, where that's a true depth where things can get pretty and ugly and all of these things. The Cancer New Moon is more like a rush of water, and you really want to unveil yourself and be honest about yourself and open your heart to whoever it is that you're connecting with in terms of love, because you're looking for a great healing. Now from there, I will get into finances. You're also looking for the kind of relationships that can heal you financially. So business partners, you can be reaching out to financial institutions if you're in a bind or in a difficult position, being very vulnerable and very honest with them about where it is that you have been, what it is that you need, you're in a space where you are breaking down your fear of not being able to trust people and saying, you know, I need this, or I'm not in the best position, or I need help. You're now opening yourself to being able to get that assistance that you need or are looking for. It also can show up in terms of you looking for a promotion, you really having a vulnerable conversation with your boss, or being willing to leave the job in the first place and connecting with a new boss that really understands you and sees you and aligns with you. Or you're connecting with new contracts where these people, your new clients, really get you. They want to dive deeper with you. If you own a business, you are hyper aware of what it is that you need to give to your clients. That's what you're really going to be focused on for the remainder of July. How can you have a better relationship with your clients and your customers? How can you do your business in a way that is more authentic, more giving, more in benefit to your customer, to your clientele? How can you get closer? How can you make them feel happier and more satisfied with the service that they're receiving from you? These are all things that you're going to be very aware of. You also want to show more transparency in your work as well, which is all very, very great. But again, relationships that heal you emotionally, financially, and physically, and what it is that you can do to grow in those ways. So attracting a great new job with a great new boss who's going to put a lot of fat money in your pockets, that's great. Again, new clients that really just have zero problem growing your business, or wanting to give you reviews, or wanting to see you succeed, or also assistance if you are in a bind and need help. Business partners as well. Going back to things pertaining to your money, yes, the South Node is going to be giving you a lot in terms of your career. There's a lot of serendipity for the next year in general when it comes to your career and your money. You're also pulling your money from the Saturn transit, the Saturn in Pisces transit, Jupiter in Taurus, and then this moon. The combination of those three things, serendipity when it comes to clients and customers, when it comes to selling yourself, when it comes to connecting and socializing, and those connections and those social interactions that you're having in terms of networking are really going to work in your benefit, especially with this new moon transit. It's on your side. So connect as much as you can, network as much as you can, grow yourself in your social standing when it comes to your work and what it is that you're trying to do, because that is where your solution is going to be. It's not about you going at it alone like you're used to, like you've been used to. It's sorry, I wanted to make sure that I thought there was something in the lens, but it's not about you going at it alone like you're used to. It is about you connecting, and you're learning that the more you connect, the more that you make. The more you grow, the more your financial profile is going to grow. Not only is your career profile going to expand and grow because more people are connecting with you, want to know you, want to support you, your accounts are going to grow. Your money in itself, your currency, the ocean that is your money is going to expand the more you connect with other people. Think about it this way. I tend to look at my money like it's, when you say streams of income, if I'm in a lake, right, my money is a lake or a body of water in some way, and it's surrounded by land. And every time you push through a barrier when it comes to the land and you create a stream, you're creating a stream of income coming from another area into your body of water, right? So your body of water continues to expand, it continues to grow, and this dry mudland has now become filled up with water, right? And the more submerged you are, the wealthier you are. Think about it that way. Whenever you create a new stream, meaning a new relationship, a new connection, a new network, you are creating more lines for those streams to come into your currency and continue to grow and expand on that. Your money is about how well it flows. Okay, pentacles are the substance. They are the truth or the realness of what it is that you have, right? Something that you can touch and feel. But currency within itself is about a constant flow. And when you understand that constant flow, that is when you no longer have a psychology based on scarcity, because you're moving it always as if it's water rushing in and out of a stream. Okay, you want to keep it in movement. So the more streams you have, the better it is, because it's constantly in movement. Lots of income coming from your work and your investments, which is good because you want to hold on to that, because when Venus goes retrograde, you do not want to take any risks, all right? You don't want to take any major risks when it comes to your money. Or I personally am choosing not to invest during this time, or I'm going to try my best not to invest during this time, because of the way that the Venus placement is. It's great in terms of clearing out debts, receiving insurance payouts, different things like that. So again, more serendipity, but not necessarily a time to take a risk. And I'm going to dive deeper into this in another video, but I'll just say that. As for before the Venus transit happens, of course, by all means, for the Cancer new moon, it is the opposite. Continue to invest, see where it is that you can take your finances, see where it is that you can grow things. Also, as well, again, more other people's resources. So court proceedings, insurance, loans, grants, all of that stuff. Things are lining up for you to make more money, and it's going to be a lot more seamless. Again, these conversations about your future relationships are big in terms of having those conversations at work that are really going to work in terms of your longevity financially. Great focus on real estate. Real estate in general is a good focus for the next, what is it, I think we're at 2 years now, because of the, I think it's happening again where I'm in the shadow. So I'll come up closer. But yeah, it's a good focus for the next 2 years now, because the Pisces Saturn transit and the Cancer new moon is kind of, again, bringing more fire behind that, or water, I guess, in terms of real estate for you. I would start investing now, or starting to look at different investments. Also, when it comes to moving, changing your life, as in moving to a different city, country, state, etc., is something that you're going to be aware of for the next year, stabilizing yourself for the next year. But again, this starts at this time. A hyper focus on bettering your relationships and working better with people, and who it is that you want to show up as at work and in your career, and making sure that people understand the value of what it is that you have and the value of your work, which you won't have to try very hard for. You've done all of the work necessary up until this point. So because you've done so much work now, really people are seeing you, and you don't have to try very hard to make them see you. Really, it's about you creating. So don't think about it as working, think about it as creating. How can you expand as much as possible? How can you stretch your limbs as much as possible? What is it that you really want to do? You're now in a time where what it is that you've always desired to do can actually come into fruition, okay? So that is it for the Cancer new moon. I may do a read. Let me just pull some cards. Let's get some advice for the Cancer new moon. Where is it that your head needs to be? It's so funny how the sun ends up in my eye. What is your subject? It's taking me a little bit to shuffle. and lastly, the point of healing. Okay. All right, so your head needs to actually be here, the world in reverse, which I thought was really interesting. So kind of like what I was saying about reconciliations and this being a moon that's very focused on relationships. Seems as if though it's about connections that aren't necessarily closed out. Be willing to revisit things, be willing to healthy people, letting healthy people back in, hearing people out. There's a lot more blooming behind the scenes than you are aware of. So again, contracts that you thought may have been dead and gone, coming back to surprise you, people that romantically that you might have been interested in, maybe coming back and you guys being able to start new. So being open to the idea that not all is lost, okay? The subject is the Nine of Swords in reverse with meeting, conversing, feeling uplifted in friendship. Yeah, so you're stepping out of a dark headspace, and a lot of beautiful things are on the horizon for you when it comes to this Cancer new moon. I really like this energy because the advice is what you want wants you. Reconciliation. So great. Callbacks, jobs, clients, love, what you want wants you. And yeah, just be open to it coming back and being able to blossom into something absolutely beautiful. In terms of your healing point, yeah, you're stepping out of a place of pain as well, because that Nine of Swords in reverse, sometimes it can mean that you're sitting in a space of anxiety, but in terms of the subject, in this case, it's with the meeting and conversing, it's like, no, you're no longer in that nightmare. It's understanding not to be in that space and opening to what the truth may be. I don't like being this, I feel like I look so bad in this light. But sometimes sometimes aspects of your life fall apart or don't go to plan. This is so they can come back together in a new and beautiful way. Trust in the goodness and the inevitable blessing of your destiny falling into place. Do not trust your fears. Put your faith in the love of your heart. A heartfelt wish is going to manifest. Sometimes aspects of your life fall apart so they can come back together. So that callback, whether it be love, whether it be money, whether it be career, you're getting what it is that you want. You're getting what it is that you've been desiring for however long you've been desiring it. What you want wants you. Smile, Capricorn. Wow. Remain open, okay? All right, remain open. I love you. Ciao.